to you all, and what a sight it is for all of us to be here on this day. All of us here to raise the roof for Kansas City. It is absolutely extraordinary. On behalf of myself and my partner in arms and my co-chair, Christy Wyatt, and the thousands, literally thousands of people who helped us on this incredible 6.5-year journey, welcome to this day which we have all been waiting for. Go ahead, you can clap again. That's good. That's good. We'll take it. Today, this day, it's time to raise the roof for Kansas City on the new Kansas City campus for animal care. So Ellen DeGeneres once explained the following. We have 2 dogs, Mabel and Wolf, and 3 cats at home, Charlie, George, and Chairman. Then we have 2 cats on our farm, Tom and little sister, 2 horses and 2 mini horses, Hannah and Tricky. We also have 2 cows named Holy and Madonna. And those, she paused to explain, are just the animals we let sleep in our bed. Whether you are, like Ellen, one of those animal lovers who lets your pets large and small curl up on your pillow, or whether you are just a kind and compassionate human being who seeks to create a better world for every 2- and 4-legged creature who just needs a hand up, just like a quiet angel named Adele Hall, who inspired us on this journey today. Today is a day that dreams are made of. Today is also a day that brings together the very best of our city. Our rock star mayor, his tremendous city manager, a passionate and dedicated city council, many of the members of whom are with us today, a fearless director of finance, a parks director and parks board with an incredibly committed vision. It's a day that's all about the most incredible shelter management team on the planet, the awesome and inspiring team that Teresa Johnson and Tori Fugate run each and every day at KC Pet Project. And it's about an extraordinarily generous, quietly generous group of civic and philanthropic leaders who have brought us to this day much more quickly than we could have ever dreamed. Today is about what happens when we lock arms to change some corner of this great city for the better. It's about partnerships that weave a narrative of generosity, of humility, of passion and human kindness, and of the power of what happens when people all across our community decide they don't care who gets the credit, they just care about getting something incredible and awesome done. We've all been working together for so long that I gotta confess, Christy, it's a little bit lonely up here without the rest of them.
That's right.
So please help me welcome and bring up the most remarkable team of folks any project of this magnitude could ever hope for. Mr. Mayor, if you would start the parade and come up here, could we ask Casey Wolf and Blue to escort you up? So while Wolf gets the mayor ready for prime time, I'd like to invite all the members of the City Council who have graced us with their presence today, in particular our sponsors, Councilwoman Teresa Lohr and Jolie Justice, our district representatives, Alicia Kennedy and Lee Barnes, Scott Taylor, Quentin Lucas, Catherine Shields, and I'd also like to invite someone who's been with us from the beginning of this journey, former Councilman John Sharp. John, would you join us up here on stage? Next, I'd like to invite our esteemed Director of Finance, who is our guidepost over 6.5 years of meetings, Randy, yes we did, Randy Landis. Yep. I'd love to welcome up the entire Board of Directors of the Kansas City Parks and Recreation Department, if you would join us, and most especially your esteemed Director, Mark McHenry, who has also been with us for years on this journey. We couldn't have done it without you. And almost last but not least, I want the KC Pet Project team to come on up. Miss Teresa, this is your day. Tori, please come on up. Chad, Annie, Sharon Garten, let's get your team up here along with the Board of Directors. Please join us. Cynthia's coming up as well. Now, Mr. Mayor, I feel like I've forgotten somebody. Let's see, we've got really quite an esteemed group up here, but I feel like there's somebody we're missing. Christy, we forgot the guy who's been with us from the very beginning, Troy Schulte. So Troy, if you're watching on Facebook Live, you're here with us today, our city manager. Troy is with us. I would also like to invite up, and I'm moving into a second tranche now that we have all of our city partners here. From the beginning, when it was clear that there was something that needed to be done, not only in the long term, but in the short term, we reached out first to some incredible partners at Grand Construction. And Rory O'Connor and Chris Doyle. Rory couldn't be with us today, he just had surgery, but Chris, if you would come up and be with us. Chris and his team were instrumental in joining with Petco to build the new temporary vet clinics at the shelter, and have done some extraordinary work for us, and we couldn't have done this without our partners at Grand Construction. Likewise, we made a 911 call to HNTB probably 4 years ago. They've been donating for a great deal of that time, and we'd like to ask Katie Moorman and the HNTB team to come join us, because this is your day too. Katie, thank you so much for all that you all have done for us. We had a lot of legal work that needed to be done. And again, without any money, we reached out to the team at Polsinelli, and they stepped up in a big way. John McGurk, Mary Jane, Pia, would you all come join us and represent today for us? Thank you so much. We needed some help to create some of the visuals that you see. Today you see the first combined logo for the Kansas City Campus for Animal Care, home of KC Pet Project, and our friends at Willoughby, who have been extraordinary partners along the journey. So I'd like to ask Nicole and Megan and anybody else from the Willoughby team to join us up here as well. And as part of that team and as part of this entire team, I'd like to ask a colleague of mine who has been my right arm at every stage of the journey, the guy in the back of the house, yes, Ryan, I do mean you, get up here on the stage. He's been the glue that has kept us all together. As you walked in, you saw some amazing pooch palaces and kitty condos. And I see our bark babes, Gail Kriegel, Debbie Ballard, and Donna Thomason, our bark babes, head of Barkitecture. Would you please come up and join us on the stage? And we have several creators of the houses here with us today as well. And we want to give a big welcome to the folks from Edgemore, from Gould Evans, from Exhibit Associates, and from Habitat 43, all of whom have done early houses, and we have a long list of others that are going to be doing additional houses. And Gail will tell you you can pick up additional information on your way out if you know anybody who would like to build a house for Barkitecture, which will be an amazing event with our grand opening next year. I'd now like to invite up, and I'm going to give a little bit of fanfare as Miss Anita Gorman is invited up to the stage, because Miss Anita Gorman will lead the group of the Kansas City Campus for Animal Care inaugural board. It is still in formation, but I'm going to toss out some names as we go. Debbie Ballard is all the way up here. Bonnie Illig, who is with us today. Gail Kriegel, Jamie Pryor, John McGurk, Steve Doyle, Mark McHenry, Teresa Johnson, Karen Daniel, Carolyn Watley, I think I saw out there. Carolyn, come on up. Beth Zollers, and Christine Kemper. And as they come up, I also want to make sure we've invited by name the members of the KC Pet Project Board, Michelle Davis, Cynthia Smith-Kelly, Lisa Epps, Jody Lanning, Sean Bird, Daron Johnson, Brenda Pozek, and Sarah Stranad. Last but not least, I'm going to do something a little unusual. This is going to surprise the two people that I'm asking to come up here. But it is really quite extraordinary and a commentary on our community that they have continued to show up time and again as we have been on this journey to raising the roof. So our partners and our friends and our colleagues from Wayside Waifs and Great Plains SBCA are here today. And Jeff and Nate, I would be honored if you would come and join us up on the stage. I see Nate coming. Jeff, where are you? Jeff, come on up. Take your jacket off before you come. Take your jackets off before you come up. And please join us. But they have been amazing partners and whisperers along the way, and we are just so grateful to live in a community of people like they and their boards of directors that have been so very pivotal. So now with the working team up here, the grand finale, if you will, everyone, if you would, please help me give a very warm welcome to the incredibly generous founding partners of the Kansas City Campus for Animal Care, who have been partners not only with their resources, but with their energy, their passion, their belief in something new and unknown, and most importantly, perhaps, their humanity. They represent the very best of what makes Kansas City a city of partnerships built on a commitment, a passion, and a whole lot of love. So, representing the Hall Family Foundation, Rebecca Hall, and her cousin Sarah Bloss Pence and daughter Adele, who were going to be here until Adele got a fever. Representing the Illig Family Foundation is Bonnie Illig. And Kristen, you look too good today. Come on up here. Come on up. We want to also say a special hello to our partners at Petco, who we told might be watching us on Facebook Live. So let's give a big round of applause to our partners at Petco. Hi, Petco. We'd like to ask Jamie and Fred Pryor. Jamie's probably already up here, but Fred, if you're out there and you could join us, please come up from the Jamie and Fred Pryor Foundation. Britton Hunter of the Hunter Family Foundation. Britton, please join us. You've been a part of this journey from the very beginning. And then the same with Chuck and Jennifer Lau, the J. Dunn family, the Graves family, and so many others who have generously given to date. It takes a village. It absolutely takes a village. So Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Never, never be afraid to do what's right, especially if the well-being of a person or an animal is at stake. Society's punishments are small compared to the wounds we inflict on our soul when we look the other way." Ladies and gentlemen, today, Kansas City is choosing not to look the other way. Today, Kansas City is doing what is right and what is good and what is enormously exciting for our region. To all the voters who brought us to today, to all the volunteers, to all of you and to all the people on the stage, let's go raise the roof. It's now my great pleasure to give to you for a special welcome to our new future home, the Director of Parks and Recreation, Mr. Mark McHenry.
You gotta love this young lady, I tell you. I think of all the words, and tenacity it seems to be the one that tends to resonate. Anyway, thanks for being here today. Welcome to Swope Park. And this is becoming now the animal center of Kansas City. Just to the south of us, we have the Lakeside Nature Center. And of course, that's where we learn about native habitat animals, the squirrels and the rabbits and the birds. And you can learn about them, and you can, of course, take a rehab animal over there and service. To the north of us, of course, we have the great Kansas City Zoo, now becoming a world-class zoo. And you can go there and learn about animals from around the world. And then just to the east of here, you can go to our off-leash dog park, which is turning out to be about the most popular off-leash dog park in the city. So you add those three plus the Kansas City Campus for Animal Care, this is Animal Central in Kansas City right now. There is three members of the park board on the stage, Mary Jane Judy, Alan Denham, and Dave Mecklenburg, and they're going to kind of wave their hand here real quickly. We give them a great deal of credit to designate 15 acres of Swope Park, our largest park, to the Animal Center for campus. We also great thank you to the mayor, the city manager, I guess the biggest Boy Scout in town right now is down at the camp, and of course the city council and their leadership to make this happen, and of course the voters of Kansas City that made this possible, and of course all the great contributors that made it possible. And of course, Roshan and Christy and their team have made all this possible as well. I do want to give a few shout outs to some city staff. I know Randy Lance is up here. He, along with his colleague Tammy Queen from the finance department, to make sure the money is all in place. I want to give a shout out to Nelson Munoz, who's assistant city attorney, who helped work through the contract, and there was some contract negotiations to make this possible. I also want to give a shout out to Eric Bosch, who's a city architect, who's been instrumental in helping design the building. And of course, Travis Kiefer, our engineer planning design manager, been part of this all the way. And then Jimmy Lawson in the way back there, who was our project manager and senior landscape architect that's on the team. And also I want to give a shout out to Heidi Downer, who works on special events and marketing for our department. She's been part of the team that helped put this event together. So thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day.
And now help me give it up for Mayor Sly James.
I don't really know if I should be facing that way or this way. I'm a little bit concerned about the ability of this platform to hold half the audience. So I'm going to be fairly quick. First of all, thank you for having me. Thank you for doing this. You know, when I came in office in 2011, I didn't get to go to many groundbreakings or ribbon cuttings. There just weren't that many things going on. This is the first of 3 this week and the first of 2 today that I'm going to in terms of groundbreakings or ribbon cuttings. Had 3 last week as well. All of that means that this is a city that has some serious momentum going. That serious momentum was what was responsible for allowing us to put together an $800 million GO bond project. Out of that $800 million bond project, the funding from the public side for this facility and this entire endeavor came forward to combine with private funding. So I want to give a shout out to the people who made all of this possible, and that is the taxpayers of Kansas City, Missouri, because absolutely. We've asked our taxpayers to do quite a lot. For this city, for its infrastructure, now for the animals that are in our lives and in our city, and we'll be asking more for them to do in terms of children coming up. But at the end of the day, the people of this city have seen the need to make strategic investments, and they certainly saw the need to make this strategic investment, which was one of the most popular things in our GO bond package. This has been a labor of several key people. They're all up here, but I can't go without talking about Rashan and Christie and the Councilwoman, Lord Councilwoman Justice and Councilwoman Shields, because they were really, I think, some of the driving forces to get the momentum forward to get this done. This is a truly magnificent thing to do. It is once again an indication of how we do things in Kansas City. It's not just that we're building, it's that we're building something that is great and that will have sustainability and will be a showcase for a lot of other things. We're doing it right, in other words. So I always like to think that when we go first class, and this is certainly a first class operation. So thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting this effort. This is going to be a truly magnificent project for not only our 4-legged family members, but our 2-legged family members as well. So enjoy this day, remember it, and remember that this is exactly what happens when people come together and they do things for the right reasons. They find a way to get beyond the incidental problems. When we're doing something for the right reasons, we find a way to get it done. And this is something that we found a way to get done. So thank you all for everything that you've done to make that happen.
Well, as the mayor said, we have had many, many champions on the city council. We've been so grateful for each and every one of their support. But in the late night texts and the early morning phone calls and the breakfasts and lunches and urgent meetings category, it has been Councilwoman Teresa Lohr and Councilwoman Jolie Justice. And I'd like to invite both of them to the podium today and give them a big round of applause as they do.
Thank you, Rashan. Well, it does take a village, and here we are. I didn't know that this day would come in my term, but we sure gave it a good run, and it did. So I can't. This is just my day. I can't be more. Nothing else could matter the rest of the whole term. So I think I'll turn it over to Jolie.
I echo every remark and thank you that's been on the stage today, but I want to take 1 minute and single out a group of folks that really need thanking. The men and women that have been running the Kansas City Pet Project and Wayside Waifs and Spay Neuter Kansas City, the people who every single day are out there taking care of all of our four-legged and three-legged and sliding and clucking animals. Thank you. None of this would have been possible if you hadn't made Kansas City the absolute most progressive and caring community when it comes to taking care of all of us, and we wouldn't have been able to do this without your hard work. It was your hard work that led to the successful vote and gave everybody on this stage the motivation to do what they do. So on behalf of Leica and Willie and Frida and Diego and Pierre and Blue and Coco and Butch and Oli and Francis and every other animal that you have saved in this community, thank you very much.
Well, that couldn't have been a better prelude to introducing the remarkable CEO and Chief Life-Saving Officer of Kansas City Pet Project. There are not enough hours in the day to talk about the extraordinary things that each of them does each and every day in some of the quiet moments of the night and some of the terrifying moments in the morning and everywhere in between. These are remarkable people that we have working in our midst, and leading them is our Teresa Johnson.
Thank you all so much. Wow, what a day. Thought this day would never get here. Since January 1 of 2012, KC Pet Project has been answering the call to help pets and people in our community. 6.5 years ago, a new day dawned for pets arriving at our city's animal shelter. And today, a new day dawns once again, beginning a new chapter in our history, helping pets and people in our hometown. This is a historic day that we've waited a lifetime for. And you might be tempted to say, we did it. But this isn't the finish line. In fact, this is just the start of amazing things to come for pets and people in our city. This new facility will provide our community and its residents much needed resources and more help for pets and people in so many underserved neighborhoods. No longer just an animal shelter, the new Kansas City campus for animal care will serve as a national role model for cutting-edge life-saving programs and services in animal welfare. I'm so grateful to the people who made this day possible, people and businesses across the metro and across the country, like the Petco Foundation, that believed in us and supported us from the very beginning. And together, we've become the third largest open admission, no-kill shelter in the United States. I want to recognize and thank the people who roll up their sleeves and stand by me every day, 365 days a year, and give so much of their lives to helping us save the lives of homeless, neglected, and abused animals in our community. My staff, our board of directors, and the countless volunteers, supporters, and adopters, many of whom are here today, that have made it possible for tens of thousands of pets in need to receive a second chance for life and for love. Last July, Mayor James proclaimed that our city shall forever be a no-kill community. This is not something an animal shelter accomplishes alone. It takes a village, a Kansas City village. There are so many animals still in need and people who love those pets in need. And there's never been a better time to get involved and help us bring positive changes to Kansas City. So I would urge you to leave here today and check out our website, kcpetproject.org, for all the ways you can help at our current facility or how you can support our new Kansas City campus for animal care. And thank you all for being here today.
Well, we are welcomed here today not only by the Parks Board and by Director McHenry, but also by our two council people in this district who have been enormous partners to us every step of the way. It's my pleasure to give you Councilwoman Alicia Kennedy and Councilman Lee Barnes.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Swope Park. Welcome to the Kansas City's 5th District. As you've heard all the comments from today about how great of an area this has become and how it has provided so many amenities for educational opportunities and family recreational opportunities for all people in Kansas City, because this is our Swope Park. But we're excited about this addition because the animals and the families that look after the animals deserve a nice place. We want it to be a cheerful environment for people to come out and be able to adopt the animals. We want it to be a safe environment for the animals to be in and have a nice area to go outside and play, and just provide a much better atmosphere and amenities for all that are supportive of the animals in Kansas City. This just is very reflective of the collaborative nature of our community. All the people that have come together, all the stakeholders that are here on this stage, that are here to support the groundbreaking for this facility, that have come together to make this happen. I was so moved by my colleague Teresa Johnson saying she just couldn't be more happy about this coming forward. I've heard about the need of this since I got on the council, and it's just amazing how all the things align at this time for us to really come to fruition. So thank you all that have contributed and shepherded this forward, all the city staff, all the Kansas City residents that have been a hand in all this. It's just been an amazing experience to be able to observe from the city council. But my colleague, Councilman Barnes, and I were excited when we had the opportunity to be a part of the planning of this project and talking with the residents in the surrounding community to make sure they understood of what was coming in, and also making sure they understood how they could be a part of this project as well. So, Councilman Barnes, I'll turn it over to you for some remarks.
Thank you, Councilwoman Kennedy. It's a good day in terms of us being able to bring another valuable asset here to Kansas City and within the 5th District. We pride ourselves on having the best entertainment assets of all of Kansas City. We've got the wonderful zoo, we've got Starlight, and now we're going to have a place where we can have protective care for the animals. I want to personally thank Teresa Johnson. I want to thank Christy and Rashan. They called me early one morning and said, "We've got an idea we want to throw by you." And I said, well, I think it was a three-way call that they were on, and I was like, okay, what are we talking about? They said, well, we're just going to meet for lunch and talk to you about it. And the conversation was good in the sense that they convinced me that Swope Park was the place this had to be. No other part of Kansas City should it be. And I welcomed it. I welcomed it with open arms. And the thing that Councilwoman Kennedy and I wanted to do was make sure that our constituents within this district were understanding of what the potential was with having the animal shelter here. So we are grateful and want to thank you all, want to thank the voters for making it possible as well. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Christy Wyatt, and it has been my pleasure to work alongside Rashan and so many other people in this endeavor. We're approaching the grand finale, and Lori Roberts is going to lead us in that, our historic groundbreaking over to the right. But before I do, I want to say a few words. I also want to note that Councilman Kevin McManus has joined us, and we're happy to have you here, Councilman. Okay, so I was supposed to say something about the Animal Health Corridor and how this all fits in, but you all know that already, and so I'd like to say something that's really from my heart. This has been a long journey, some would say a really long journey, but most things worthwhile take a long time. Through all of this, there has been one constant. My friend and our leader, Rashan Paris. Mark McHenry mentioned her tenacity. This is true. She is a force of nature who never gives up. She is inspired by her deep love and compassion for companion animals and the team of dedicated professionals who care for them. She sails through life, things good and bad, with a smile on her face and a kind word for everyone, and of course, along with her signature cookies that don't hurt either. One thing is for sure, There are really two entities responsible for us being here today, and one of them is the voters of Kansas City, Missouri, as the mayor said. And the other is an individual who I am so proud to call my friend, and that is Rashan Paris. So with that, Lori Roberts will take this process over.
Okay. All right, on 1, 2, 3, go.
Congratulations for all of your hard work.